Hello there, very good Tuesday evening to all our viewers. This is Primetime News. We are coming to you live and direct this evening from our Newsfirst studios in Colombo. I'm Joel Outschool. We start off today with a look at the headlines.
President informs trade unions to maintain peace at state institutions. UNP supporters protest for democracy opposite temple trees. Discussions between Prime Minister and opposition leader. Appointment of Commissioner General of Inland Revenue suspended. Signs of abolishing the fuel pricing formula.
Well, starting off with our top story this evening, MP Dinesh Khandar was sworn in as the State Minister of Environment this evening. Meanwhile, secretaries appointed to 12 cabinet ministries took their oaths before President Maithripala at the Presidential Secretariat.
Hemasiri Fernando was appointed as the Secretary to the Ministry of Defence. DM R.B. Dissanayake was appointed as the new Secretary of the Ministry of Mahaweli and Environment Development. R.P. Arya Singha was appointed as the Secretary to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and L. Jayampati was sworn in as the Secretary of Ports and Shipping. KDS Rohan Chandra was sworn in as the Secretary to the Ministry of Agriculture. Dr. BMS Bhattagoda was appointed as the new Secretary to the Ministry of Power and Renewable Energy. Padmasiri Jayamana and H.T. Kamal Premasiri were appointed as the Secretaries to the Ministries of Education and Provincial Councils and Local Government respectively. V. Shivanyana Sothi was appointed as the Secretary to the Ministry of Resettlement, Rehabilitation and Northern Development. MMPK Maya Dunne was sworn in as the Secretary to the Ministry of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources Development and Rural Economic Affairs. S.M. Mohammed was appointed as the new Secretary to the Ministry of Upcountry, New Villages, Infrastructure and Community Development. S. Hettiarachi was appointed as the new Secretary of the Ministry of Tourism and Wildlife.
President Maithripala has requested trade union representatives to ensure law and order will be maintained at all levels in state organizations.
Members of SLFP and People's United Front trade unions met with President Maithripala Sirisena at the Presidential Secretariat today. In the light of these tense situations that took place during the past few days, the President stated that certain political parties, including the UNP, is attempting to bring dishonor to the country in the international arena, and therefore the President requested the support from trade union representatives to maintain law and order in public institutions. Minor events have been depicted as critical issues in the international arena. The representatives of trade unions must take leadership and the responsibility in maintaining law and order in public institutions. I request you to extend your fullest support towards mitigating tense situations at state institutions. My only request is to maintain good faith with all groups.
On to a story that made it to the headlines this evening. Now, a protest staged by the United National Party was held opposite the temple trees in Colombo today.
The rally commenced at around 1 p.m. with the participation of many party supporters from several areas. Leaders of the United National Party, joint leaders of the United National Freedom Front also joined the rally. I'd like to remind you that we should protect democracy. The UNP and the UNFF together with the people will be committed to do it. We will provide Samurdhi and jobs. We will construct houses and provide Mahapola as well. We will also find the money required. This party harassed me as well. But let's keep that aside. It is time to unite. We will look for democracy in parliament and not through violence. Just like my father, I came here prepared to face death. I'm ready to face bombs and get shot. I'm ready to sacrifice my life for the people of this country and for democracy. Let us win the peaceful democratic fight. We can win and we will. It is a shameful thing to betray the mandate of the people. We will not let them do that shameful deed. They expected this time for us to be like prisoners on Monday after all what they did on Friday. We use the temple trees as a sign of democracy. Parties of the UNFF and several other parties requested to convene parliament, but instead they prorogued it. They tried to run away from the problem, but we will not let them. We will also not let them put aside the votes of the people. We will win this and we will not betray this. We are ready to take the necessary steps, strengthen the remaining bit of democracy we have in this country. We will win the power in parliament and we will move forward democratically as a party. Meanwhile, the Colombo Additional Magistrate Priyantha Liyanage issued an injunction order with regard to the protest organized by the United National Party. According to the injunction order, UNP Secretary General Akila Viraj Karyavasam and several others were prohibited from entering into government premises, and it prohibited the demonstration from taking place in a manner that inconveniences the public and disturbs the peace. However, the protest, which was held in a peaceful manner, concluded this evening.
Now, leader of the National Unity Alliance, Asad Saleh, convened a media briefing today.
The Speaker cannot convene Parliament. Only the President can convene a Parliament that has been prorogued. Why can't they wait till the 16th? They cannot keep the boys with them. The boys are crossing over. They arrive at the protest not to protect Ranil but to appoint Sajith Premadasa as the new leader. Who created this problem? This was created by no one else other than the corrupt individual created by Ranil Wickremesinghe, Malik Samaravikrama. All I have to say to these 4 or 5 people is that the UNP is in the ditch because of Malik Samaravikrama.
Now, a group of MPs of the governing faction convened a media briefing at the Prime Minister's office today.
There have been 24 prorogations of Parliament from 1970 to 2018. There are some disgraceful prorogations. For example, when the no confidence motion was presented, Parliament was prorogued for 24 days. The day before Duke Gunasekara could present the COPE report, Parliament was suspended. In both of these inappropriate actions in Parliament, the person behind them was Honourable Ranil Wickremesinghe. Prorogation of Parliament for 11 days is seen by Westerners as a violation of democracy. I'm sad to say that provincial council elections in the country were postponed for 2 years. No state department or any of those associations did not even present a small piece of sheet with such a request. The United National Party has officially announced that they will bring a large crowd to Colombo. Provincial leaders say they are coming to Colombo not to protect Ranil Wickremesinghe but to send him home and bring in Sajith Premadasa. There could be a threat to Ranil Wickremesinghe. We respectfully say that his security was reduced to 10. The way we see it, this was wrong. He needs protection. He was the Prime Minister of the country for 4 terms and the opposition leader for 4 times. Because of their ill treatment to democracy, they would get the position of opposition leader the next time. We would not like to remove Sambandhan. The police must take responsibility for the protection of Ranil Wickremesinghe. They must provide him with the required security. Finally, all we have to say to the general public is that don't be afraid of the day of the devil. The obituary of the fuel pricing formula will come by the 10th of next month.
අපි ලබන මාස 10 වෙනිදාන් පස්සේ මේ සූත්‍රය නම් කරමු අවමංගල සූත්‍රය.
Sri Lanka's ill-fated fuel price formula appears to have been extinguished.
A meeting took place this morning between Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa and the leader of the opposition, R. Sambandhan.
The meeting between the Prime Minister and the opposition leader took place at the official residence of Mahinda Rajapaksa in Vijayarama, Colombo. The meeting mainly focused on the prevailing political situation in the country. The TNA issued a notice stating that the meeting took place upon the request made by the new Premier. It added that the meeting took place under no circumstances and the meeting did not include any discussion regarding the position of the opposition leader.
Mr. Mahinda Rajapaksa invited the opposition leader to meet him at the Prime Minister's office. But the opposition leader rejected that invitation and met him at his residence. He met him only as another member of parliament, not in any other capacity. There is a false statement going round that there was some discussion with regard to retaining the leader of the opposition post. Opposition leader has already issued a statement denying that vehemently and stating that no such discussion ever took place with regard to the leader of the opposition post.
Meanwhile, several parliamentarians too convened a media briefing today.
This meeting was held at the parliamentary complex this evening, headed by Speaker Karu Jayasuriya. When a new Prime Minister is appointed, the Parliament should immediately convene and hold a vote in order to see whether that particular person has the majority or not. If a no-confidence motion is put forward against this so-called Prime Minister, out of the 125, a considerable amount will cast their vote for the motion. We got to know that 126 members have written to the Speaker to convene Parliament, and the letter has been sent to the President. Nothing beyond that has happened. Parliament has been prorogued until the 16th. That's 11 days. The budget speech was on the 5th. Now that the Finance Minister has been changed, their concern is not on parliamentary traditions, but on the change of government. Addressing a letter to the Speaker, UPFA General Secretary Minister Mahinda Amaravira has requested to safeguard the privileges and rights of Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa in the Parliament. Even today, an opposition leader meeting has been convened. We think it is unethical, unconstitutional and illegal. We urge the Speaker Karu Jayasuriya not to take any decision which will bring disrepute in the future, as he is a person with a reputed past. Meanwhile, veteran journalist Kumarasiri Hettige has been appointed as the Secretary of Parliamentary Affairs to the new Prime Minister. Kumarasiri Hettige was a professional journalist, and he also served as the Secretary of Parliamentary Affairs when Mahinda Rajapaksa was serving as the President.
Now, the new cabinet of ministers gathered today under the patronage of President Maithripala Sirisena. During the meeting, the decision to appoint a Deputy Governor of the Central Bank as the Commissioner General of the Inland Revenue Department was abolished.
The President did not agree to this. He said that someone should be appointed internally based on seniority. The Cabinet of Ministers decided that the decision was not suitable and that was abolished. Thereby, the decision was to appoint an acting Commissioner General based on seniority. Minister Mahinda Samarasinghe further stated that President Sirisena had informed ambassadors and foreign representatives yesterday regarding the decision on the appointment of the new Prime Minister. When the Prime Minister was being appointed in 2015, the UNP had only 41 seats in Parliament. The President explained to them that the leader of that party was appointed as the Prime Minister back then. Yes, there were new clauses added through the 19th Amendment to the Constitution. However, the President clearly has the power to remove a Prime Minister. The Sinhala text and the English text are different. The President showed this to the ambassadors and explained clearly that Ranil Wickremesinghe works in English. Though he was able to amend the English text the way he wants, he forgot to make the Sinhala text. The President holds the power to appoint a person who has won the majority confidence as the Prime Minister.
තියනවද නැද්ද කියන එක ටෙස්ට් කරන්න විශ්වාස භංග යෝජනාවක් ඕන වෙලාවක පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ ගෙන්න පුළුවන්. ගිය සිකුරාදා වෙනකම් විශ්වාසය තිබුණානේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ. මොකද? නෑ නෑ පොඩ්ඩක් ඉන්නකෝ. දැන් ඔබතුමා කියනවා නම් හොඳයි. ඒක නම් මම කතා කරන්නේ ඒක තමයි. සිකුරාදා වෙනකම් විශ්වාසය තිබ්බා. සෙනසුරාදා විශ්වාසය නැති වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඉතින් ඒ කොහොමද එහෙම නැති පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට යන්න? වෙන කවුරුන් නෙවෙයි තීරණය කරන්න පාර්ලිමේන්තුව තීරණය. 10 වෙනිදාට පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට යනවානේ. අතුරු සම්මත ගෙනුම ඉදිරිපත් වෙනවා. ඒ ඉදිරිපත් කරපුවාම මේක පරාජය කරොත් ඉතින් ඉවරයිනේ. 170 අවම වශයෙන් කියනවා ඒක ගත්ත තීරණේ හරියි. ඒක තමයි අපේ ස්ථාවරය. ඒව කියන දේ ඔබතුමන්ලා කොහොමද හදාගත්තේ? ඒ හැංගීම එක අපේ හැංගීම අපි පොඩි පැහැදිලි අපි නිතර සමීක්ෂණ කරනවා.
We announce our decisions. You say what your ideas are. We respect that. Do not expect us to say yes to everything you say. That is not how we are here.
The Secretary to the Prime Minister spoke about Ranil Wickremesinghe not handing over temple trees to the current Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa at a media briefing held today.
සාමාන්‍යයෙන් ඉතින් නිල නිවසක්
Generally, if it is an official residence, they could stay for about 2 to 3 days with the consent of their successor. There are also provisions for some state officials who always live in state-provided housing and have not built a house of their own, so they have no place to go. At such a time, they can stay for a period of 3 months with the consent of their successor. But there are no such provisions for ministers. I think our former president had a place to go, so he left the day itself. I think that when the Prime Minister finds a place, he will leave. At least that's what we think. But we have no intention of initiating any legal proceeding regarding this. Actually, as state property, it is under my care because I am the state official. It is not under the care of the Prime Minister. No, the Prime Minister has not said anything about this.
Gotabaya Rajapaksa says he will not accept a position in the current government. Now, he expressed these views after appearing in court for the case filed against him for causing the government losses of 11.4 billion rupees by authorizing operations of avant-garde.
I told you I will not accept any position. This is a caretaker government, a government that will be there for some time. I'm not exactly sure as to what the name is. This is the government that will be there until an election is held and a new government is elected. With a small number of ministers, the government should provide concessions to the people and then should go before them and create a government with their consent. That is my opinion. The power to summon parliament according to our constitution rests with the president. As far as I know, the American ambassador's office doesn't have the power to do that. That's good. Let's go on like this. He can stay at Temple Trees and Mahinda Rajapaksa can manage the country. If he likes it, let's go on like this. We do not engage in politics with hatred.
Good evening. This morning on Newsline, President's Counsel Kushan Dialvis commented about the constitutionality of the appointment of the Prime Minister of Sri Lanka. Let's listen to what President Counsel Kushan Dialvis had to say.
I am of the view that the President was well within his powers to appoint a new Prime Minister, as I am of the view that the Cabinet of Ministers had ceased to function with the UPFA pulling out of the national government, and accordingly I am of the view that the Prime Minister will continue to hold office only during the period which the Cabinet of Ministers continue to function. Article 46(1) limits the number of Cabinet Ministers to 30. But Article 46(4) takes away that restriction in the event of a national government. Now, factually, the two main parties, that is the UPFA and the United National Front for Good Governance, got together and formed the national government. So therefore, the limitation of 30 cabinet ministers did not apply. And thereafter, last Friday, the UPFA pulled out from the cabinet, and accordingly, the national government came to an end. Therefore, the number of cabinet ministers cannot exceed 30. So the present cabinet, which was in force at that time, ceased to function. The claims of unconstitutionality is mainly based on an isolated reading of Article 46(2), which is just taken in isolation without going through the entirety of the Constitution and the provisions of the entirety of Chapter 8 and in totality the spirit of the Constitution.
Well, it's clear from what President's Counsel Kushan Dialvis said about the constitutionality of the appointment of the Prime Minister of Sri Lanka. The Good Governance, the National Unity Government, was appointed in 2015, and because it was a national government, the provisions of the Constitution limiting the size of the cabinet to just 30 ministers was done away with. That is allowed under the Constitution. We must bear in mind that the election was not contested by the United National Party, but rather the United National Front for Good Governance. And one of its component members was, of course, the UPFA. The national government ceased to exist on the withdrawal last Friday of the UPFA from the national government. Therefore, the ability to have more than 30 members of the cabinet ceased to exist, because over 30 you need to have a national unity government. And with the withdrawal of the UPFA, of course, it had to revert to 30. Therefore, the cabinet of ministers simply ceased to exist. And it was then that the president, as per the constitution of the country, decided to appoint a prime minister who, in his opinion, could command the majority in the House. That meant that why he did that was, of course, that when the UPFA withdrew from the national unity government, we had a minority situation. And with the ceasing to exist of the cabinet of ministers, because they had to be limited to 30, that also meant, as per the constitution, that the term of the prime minister also ceased, meaning that President Maithripala Sirisena had to appoint a prime minister who, in his opinion, could command the majority of the House. And that is how the new prime minister came to be appointed to his position. Joe?
Well, thank you very much for that insight. We'll be right back after this short break. Welcome back to the news. Now, in light of the country's prevalent political crisis, religious leaders of all faiths have requested the public to act patiently and vigilantly.
As priests, we wish that the public will act patiently and vigilantly during this situation. Those with different opinions must act cautiously. We hope this situation will resolve soon. We hope this crisis will be resolved in good faith, and all leaders of the government as well as the opposition will act towards the betterment of the country. We request all political leaders to act wisely and respect democracy. It is important to ensure all decisions and activities will take place within a democratic framework. We request the public to act wisely during this situation. We must be patient and face this sensitive situation. As Catholics, let us all pray for peace. Wait patiently for the right decision. The Hindu Clergy Association makes a request from all the people in the country to act in peace. We bestow blessings. When there are people of many religions living in this country, everyone should live in democracy without being misled by false rumors. People should be law-abiding and respectful of human rights.
I appeal to all the Christians, and especially the people called Methodists in Sri Lanka, to be on your knees, praying to our great God and praying to Christ Jesus, the Lord of Lords and the King of Kings, and may He reign and rule in our country over and above our human rulers. May God bless you.
Now, the chief incumbent hero of the Hunupitiya Gangarama temple, Venerable Galaburan Gnaneshwara Thero, expressed these views on the current political situation last night.
No one who voted had shed a single tear. They did not light a lamp. They did not curse. There is no noise. What we can understand through this is that the people of the country were in sorrow and in fear. Because in another country, if the legally appointed government is overturned, even at the thought of it, people will rise up.
රටේ ජනතාව නැගී හිටිනවා. මම නම් දන්නේ නැහැ කවුද අගමැති.
I don't know who the Prime Minister is and who is not, but this has been enacted by the President. He addressed the nation yesterday. The people should understand exactly what he said.
ජනතාව අවබෝධ කරගත යුතුයි.
In some business news now, amidst the political crisis in Sri Lanka, the Colombo Stock Exchange has made steady gains.
The all-share index closed at 5,964.32 today. Sri Lanka's sovereign dollar bonds and the rupee plunged to record lows, while the nation's stocks surged the most in 5 years, as the political turmoil sent equity and bonds investors to opposite ends of the risk spectrum. According to Moody's Investor Services, the crisis would inflict lasting damage to investors' confidence. Stock bulls, including Mark Mobius, took a different view, that the upheaval may pave the way for a government focused on boosting economic growth. Sri Lanka's 6.75% 2028 dollar bonds fell 3 cents to a record low of 87.8 cents on the dollar, the most since the debt sold in April, and the rupee slid 0.7% to a lifetime low of 174.15 per dollar. The upheaval comes as Sri Lanka faces significant bond maturities, including the $1 billion bond due in January and $500 million due in April. Moody's added the crisis is credit negative and uncertainty about Sri Lanka's future policies will dent investor confidence. However, Mobius Capital Partners told Bloomberg there may be a silver lining to the political problem, as there could be a more focused government program.
Well, with that, we bring to close this edition of Primetime News. Thank you very much for stopping by. Well, if you missed out on any stories and also to keep yourself up to date on the latest and trending news, simply log on to our award-winning website, that is www.newsfirst.lk. I'm Joel Outspoon. Have yourself a great evening. Take care. Good night.